Kaley Cuoco has never been easy to label, and that's exactly why audiences can't stop watching her. From America's sitcom sweetheart to a Golden Globe-nominated producer and dramatic lead, she spent decades defying expectations without ever losing her relatability. We first met her as the bubbly girl next door on The Big Bang Theory, but behind the charm and punchlines was a woman determined to break every mold Hollywood tried to fit her into. Now, with acclaimed performances, bold career moves, and a new chapter in motherhood, Kaley's evolution is more than just impressive. It's personal. This is the story of how a former teen actress transformed into one of the most respected, fearless, and multifaceted talents in television today. Before she was a household name, Kaley Cuoco was just a determined kid from Camarillo, California, chasing her dream one audition at a time. Born on November 30, 1985, Kaley started acting before she even hit double digits. She appeared in commercials, TV movies, and had small roles in well-known shows like Seventh Heaven and Charmed. But her big break came in 2002, when she landed the role of Bridget Hennessy in 8 Simple Rules, a sassy, sharp-tongued teenager who could hold her own opposite veteran actor John Ritter. The show put Kaley on the map. Her comedic timing, expressive face, and natural charisma proved she was more than just another teen actress. And even after tragedy struck with Ritter's sudden passing, she stayed strong and carried the show forward alongside her castmates. It was a formative moment, for her and for fans who saw a young woman learning how to navigate both fame and loss in real time. What no one realized back then was that this wasn't her peak. It was just the start of a long, winding journey towards something far bigger. In 2007, Kaley Cuoco took on a role that would redefine her entire career. Penny, the charming, down-to-earth neighbor on The Big Bang Theory. At first glance, she was cast as the classic foil, a street-smart waitress surrounded by socially awkward scientists. But as the show evolved, so did Penny. And so did Kaley. What started as light comic relief transformed into one of the emotional anchors of the series. Cuoco brought a unique blend of warmth, wit, and vulnerability that gave the show heart. She became the bridge between audiences and a world of quantum physics, comic book obsession, and quirky genius. Off-screen, her chemistry with co-stars like Jim Parsons and Johnny Galecki, whom she briefly dated in real life, added to the authenticity fans felt on screen. Together, they created a dynamic that turned a niche sitcom into a cultural phenomenon. By the show's later seasons, The Big Bang Theory was not only dominating ratings, it was rewriting television history. And Kaley Cuoco, earning over $1 million per episode, was officially one of the highest-paid actresses in the world. But despite the fame and fortune, she was already looking ahead, ready to prove she was capable of far more than punchlines and applause. When The Big Bang Theory ended in 2019 after 12 wildly successful seasons, most expected Kaley Cuoco to stick with what she knew. Another sitcom, another safe bet. But instead, she made one of the boldest moves of her career. She launched her own production company and stepped into a genre no one saw coming. A dark psychological thriller. The Flight Attendant, released on HBO Max, wasn't just a shift in tone, it was a full reinvention. Kaley didn't just star as Cassie Bowden, a messy, self-destructive flight attendant caught in a global murder mystery. She also executive produced the entire series. The result? A gritty, gripping performance that stunned critics and silenced any remaining doubts about her range. Cassie was raw, flawed, funny, and tragic all at once, and Kaley nailed every beat. Her performance earned her Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, and the show's success proved she wasn't just a star. She was a creative force. She could produce, lead, and carry a dramatic story that lived far beyond the punchlines of her past. The Flight Attendant wasn't just a hit. It was a declaration. Kaley Cuoco had arrived as a serious, multidimensional artist. With The Flight Attendant, Kaley Cuoco did more than reinvent herself. She redefined what it means to grow in Hollywood. She wasn't just acting anymore. She was making deals, choosing scripts, building teams, and calling the creative shots. Her production company, yes, Norman Productions, became her launchpad, not just for her own projects but for elevating other complex, character-driven stories that mainstream networks often overlook. In an industry where many actresses are boxed in by typecasting or pushed aside after their breakout roles, Kaley flipped the script. She became a producer not because she had to, but because she wanted to own her voice, her vision, and her future. And she did it while still being the same goofy, grounded personality fans fell in love with years ago. It's rare to see someone transition so seamlessly from comedic lead to executive power player, but Kaley managed it with a mix of boldness and charm. She proved she wasn't just riding the wave of her sitcom success, she was building a legacy on her own terms. And in doing so, she became a model for every young actor trying to figure out what comes after the spotlight dims. While Kaley Cuoco's professional life was hitting new heights, her personal journey was just as complex and just as revealing. Over the years, she's lived much of her love life in the public eye. From a whirlwind marriage to tennis player Ryan Sweeting that ended in divorce, to her second marriage with equestrian Carl Cook, Kaley's relationships have been scrutinized, celebrated, and speculated about. But through it all, she never pretended to be perfect. What stands out most is her honesty. Kaley has spoken candidly about heartbreak, healing, and learning to be okay with change. When her marriage to Cook ended in 2021, she didn't retreat. Instead, she kept working, kept building, and eventually quietly found joy again. In 2023, that joy became something even bigger: motherhood. She welcomed her first child with actor Tom Pelphrey, and fans saw a softer, more grounded version of Kaley emerge. Her posts about motherhood are refreshingly real, filled with humor, exhaustion, and overwhelming love. It's clear she's entered a new chapter, not as a celebrity, but as a woman growing deeper into herself. This isn't the Kaley Cuoco from red carpet's past. This is a woman who has lived, stumbled, and kept moving forward, with grace, grit, and an open heart. What makes Kaley Cuoco's evolution so rare is that she's managed to reinvent herself, without ever abandoning the essence of who she is. Fame hasn't hardened her. Critical acclaim hasn't changed her spirit. She's still goofy, still unfiltered, still the kind of person who trips on a red carpet and laughs about it the next day. But behind that easygoing exterior is someone who's always been working quietly, fiercely to grow. She's refused to be boxed in, refused to let one role define her. And she's done it all while staying remarkably relatable. Whether she's cracking jokes on set or crying on screen in a scene packed with emotional weight, Kaley brings a sense of honesty that cuts through. She lets people see the flaws, the messiness, the transformation, and that's what keeps fans coming back. She hasn't shed her sitcom roots. She's built on them, taken the timing, the presence, the audience connection, and added layers of vulnerability, courage, and creative ambition. Kaley's reinvention isn't a pivot, it's an expansion. And with each new project, she continues to show that there's more to her story than anyone ever imagined. If Kaley Cuoco's past is any indication, her future won't be predictable, and that's exactly the point. With her production company gaining momentum, and her ability to lead both comedic and dramatic roles with ease, she's entering a phase of her career defined by freedom. She's no longer tied to one type of character, one type of show, or even one lane in the industry. She can pivot, experiment, and most importantly, create. Upcoming projects are already in the pipeline, including more behind-the-scenes roles where Kaley is shaping content from the ground up. She's made it clear she wants to tell stories that matter. Stories that reflect real people, raw emotion, and complex women. And as she balances motherhood with her creative pursuits, she's showing that growth doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can mean expanding into every area of life with deeper purpose. Kaley Cuoco is no longer just reacting to what Hollywood offers her. She's deciding what Hollywood needs. And with her blend of authenticity, talent, and fearlessness, there's no telling how far she'll go next. Kaley Cuoco's story isn't just about fame, it's about evolution. From a teen actress with big dreams to a household name on one of the most watched sitcoms in history, she could have stopped there. But she didn't. Instead, she leaned into change. She embraced challenges. She took risks that most wouldn't. And each time, she came back stronger, smarter, and more grounded than before. What makes Kaley stand out isn't just her resume, it's her resilience. She's proof that you can be funny and fierce, broken and rebuilding, successful and still searching. She's shown us that reinvention doesn't require losing yourself. It means finding more of who you really are. In a world full of fast fame and filtered perfection, Kaley Cuoco remains something far more valuable, real. Whether she's delivering Emmy-worthy drama, producing her next hit, or simply sharing honest moments of motherhood, she does it with heart, with humor, with grit. And that's why her journey matters. Because Kaley isn't done, not even close. She's writing her next chapter one bold move at a time. And the best part? She's doing it all her own way. Kaley Cuoco didn't just survive the spotlight. She mastered it and turned it into something entirely her own. Kaley Cuoco isn't just a television star. She's a reflection of what it means to grow up in public, to fall down and get back up, and to keep building a life that matters long after the cameras stop rolling. Her journey from a sunny California childhood to international fame wasn't linear, easy, or picture-perfect. It was real. And that's why so many people have connected with her year after year. She gave the world laughter as Penny, but she gave herself something greater, permission to break free from what people expected. When The Big Bang Theory ended, she could have coasted. She could have played it safe. But Kaley chose the harder path. To become the kind of artist and woman who creates her own space instead of waiting to be invited into one. That choice changed everything. It showed young actors, especially young women, that you don't have to be boxed in by your past roles. That you can lead, produce, take creative control, and still be authentic. That success isn't about staying at the top of someone else's game. It's about creating your own rules. And she did all this while navigating heartbreak, media attention, love, loss, and eventually motherhood. Her openness about mental health, personal transformation, and the messy middle of life makes her story resonate far beyond the screen. She's not selling perfection. She's living truthfully, and that's what people are hungry for. Today, Kaley Cuoco stands as a symbol of modern success. Unpolished, unfiltered, and deeply human. She's still funny, still fast-talking, still willing to laugh at herself. But she's also strategic, creative, and unafraid to pivot. She's not just an actress anymore. She's a storyteller, a leader, and a blueprint for what longevity in Hollywood can look like when it's built on passion, not ego. As she enters this new chapter, balancing family with fearless new projects, she isn't slowing down. She's moving differently, more focused, more free. And if her past is any clue, her future won't just be successful. It'll be unforgettable. Because Kaley Cuoco didn't just play roles. She transformed them. She didn't just follow trends. She set her own. And in doing so, she's become something rare in this business. A star who keeps shining brighter by staying exactly who she is.